Call for the Dead is the first spy novel in the Smiley series by Jean Le Carre, pen name of dude who I will find out what his actual name is later. And wow, well, first off, the writing is exquisite, perfect, beautiful writing. You can just see on that level, the whole novel starts out with basically Le Carre telling us a whole bunch of shit. And you don't care because he does such a really good job at it that it's like we're not starting off with dialogue, we're just starting off with like kind of descriptions of Smiley. And what a kind of a dumpy, kind of mild mannered nothing of a guy he is, and how everyone was surprised that he snagged such a beautiful and vivacious wife, which is interesting thing to start off with because it's the thing about the novel that sticks and also feels the weirdest of the stuff. I mean, it is a spy novel. It is during the Cold War. Smiley's job work. He gets basically recruited into MI6 or whatever, the big British spy organization, and he's managing he's managing people, and he's doing it in a fairly perceptive way. He was basically interested in is it German lit, and there's a sort of a thing of how the literature, being a literature guy, and kind of parsing people's motivations and actions is perfect training to be a spy. Coming from a novelist who was for a while worked in that organization thing. Obviously, not to the extent that he was able to himself continue that or had the taste for it. But kind of the interesting thing to me about the whole stuff, because there's the spy stuff, which is really well done, clicked off. Smiley is that guy who's like, stuff bugs him and he keeps on pursuing it even when he's got people above him who are dolts who just want this thing neatly tidied up and aren't really interested. They just want a neat story to kind of tie it up and tell their superiors everything's fine, even when it's not fine. So there's all that. But yeah, there's the whole thing with women in this book, where there's Smiley's wife who, yes, after a while decides, no, I don't want to be with him. I'm going to be with the kind of guy that actually everyone expected to be, which is kind of a Brazilian race car driver. And Smiley is basically kind of cuckolded. She just goes off with him, and he's dumped, and no one's surprised, and everyone's like, okay, we can now forget about Smiley. So there's that relationship with the woman, and then there's this woman that is the dead man's wife, the guy who is supposedly killed himself because Smiley was investigating him, even though Smiley says, we had a very cordial thing. I was basically just saying it's all fine, you don't have to worry about it. But inconsistencies come up from the suicide, and yeah, this woman, how do I put it? Yeah, see, now I need to kind of track down my feelings on this woman. She is a concentration camp survivor, and she's basically seen that the Germans are going to have a prosperous, like the West Germans at least, are going to have a prosperous, back to like kind of riches and fine life post-war, and she hates that. Really hates that, and what her motivations are there. I don't know. I've lost something in there. See, this is why it's good to talk things out, because I have a disquiet over how the women in these books are treated by very kind of the masculine thing. And even Smiley himself is sort of a thwarted romantic in a lot of ways. And it's part of it is his misjudgment of this woman, this concentration camp woman, which blinds him for a large part of the novel until he finally kind of just goes, oh, well, there's blinded to the woman, and then there's blinded to thing. I mean, there's a sense of like Smiley's wife betrayed him, and this woman and the guy who supposedly committed suicide betrayed each other, or they had other things on their minds. Yeah, you see, this is where I need to kind of work that out and figure that out before I do a review, if I do a review on it. Yeah, okay, I'll leave it there.